This is Dan with Invest Rent to Own, and today we're going to talk about using IRAs to create wealth. And the example that I want to give you is my own example, where I turned my Roth IRA from $45,000 into over $800,000 in just over 10 years. How is that possible? Well, it's about real estate is really what it comes down to, and it's about the rent-to-own strategy that we applied to real estate. Starting when I set it up, started with $45,000, just over $45,000 at the far left over there. And then I began to buy property with it. And I don't have the addresses, they were kind of hidden over there. But this is me buying more property and selling them on a 8-year rent-to-own contract, kind of like a land contract. That's what I did. And you can see the total down here going from 45,900, 238, 400. Today, it's worth 845,000. And we've got more money in the bank, and we plan on doing some more purchasing. So that's what it is. Wow. About 28% compounded interest rate applied at that. So what's the strategy here? The strategy essentially was that I took some money, right, $45,000, not all that much, but I used it and I bought one house. One house for $28,000, and I signed a rent-to-own contract with someone and sold it for $65,000 over the course of 8 years. And then the cash flows start coming in, and I buy another one when I have enough money for it, and then another, and then another. And then you'll have to manage through some of the challenges in between, but some of those challenges actually end up benefiting you. In one case, I had a terrible situation. That first house that I bought, I get a letter from the county saying your house is being declared a nuisance. And so I had to investigate why. It turns out that the guy that had bought the property from me was using it to deal drugs. And so I had to go through eviction court, and I had to kick him out. And I was left with a shell of a house, but I put maybe $10,000, $15,000 worth into it, and I sold it right away for $80,000. So I took a $20,000 house that he had paid off and given me $10,000, $20,000 more than I'd bought it for, put some money back into it, and sold it for $80,000, which the neighbors were all very happy when I found out about the eviction, about what I needed to do to be a proper, good landlord. So, that's essentially what it is. Use the strategies that I teach on this site and combine them with the self-directed IRA. So, you may be asking, what is a self-directed IRA? The IRS allows you to invest in more than just the stock market with an IRA. And so in this case, I went through a company. I spent about $1,000. I'll put the company's information down below if you're interested in looking into them as well. Paid about $1,000. They set up a LLC, and they set up a self-directed IRA, and then the IRA bought the LLC. I transferred all my money to the IRA. That then got transferred down to the LLC, and I essentially had a checkbook control over the IRA. And so I could go and I could buy and close transactions and collect rents, just like a normal LLC that holds real estate would do. The key things I needed to make sure that I did is that, number one, I never did any self-dealing. So I never paid any money from the LLC back to myself. I never did any sweat equity either. No sweat equity is allowed. I had to have other people do the work to the house that I paid them for. And there's also some other rules about who you can share with and partner with. You can't do any generational stuff, so you can't take money from mom and dad, or you can't pass it on to your kids. But you can partner peer-to-peer, so a brother, sister, sibling relationship is okay with transactions within your LLC. Your Roth IRA. There's a list of them. I'm not a tax guy, but I have learned the rules over the years and apply them for myself. If you apply it for yourself, right? All you need is 10, 20, 30, 40,000 for this, and you can get started. There's some other, I did this all with cash. I didn't borrow any money throughout it, but you are allowed to get loans as well. They have to be non-recourse loans. They have to be no more than, I think, 50, 60% I have seen loan-to-value loans. There are some specific lenders that target this kind of market. I have not gotten them before because there's some additional reporting requirements, and it's just more than I want to deal with myself with everything else that I've got going on. But it's definitely doable. If you're starting small and you want to get a loan for your first couple properties, then it's something that is definitely doable. So, I mean, think about it. $45,000 was a fair amount to start with, but now $800,000 in my Roth IRA, so essentially it grew tax-free, and things are going good. $600,000 in passive income so far at this point, and we're about ready to get over $6 million in our net worth. So I would love to teach you about these things. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll teach you more. We'll talk soon.